Hey, welcome back to the show, Total Financial Solutions Safer Money Hour. Just trying to clarify, what is an annuity and is it useful and when do you use it? Because a lot of people have a misconception, especially from the Wall Street crowd who don't really get to feed these things as often as they would like. And so hence, you're going to have some PR problem. You're going to have a communication issue where we try to say, hey, here's a good idea. And for some people, for some of their money, it works. But not for everybody. It's not for people that say, oh, I'm willing to take big risk, or I'm somebody who has so many other sources of income that, I don't really care if I lose 10 or 20 or 30% in my accounts if they go up and down, because I'm not going to use them anytime soon. And that's, there's everybody out there. I'll give you an example. We have one particular client who has a pension from the City of Los Angeles, Department of Motor Vehicle, Department of Water and Power, Social Security, and he was an Air Force Reserve. Wow. Reservist. He was in the Air Force and went to Reserve and retired. I think at 25 years or whatever it was, whenever you retire. Wow. So he had five pensions. Some of them are hundreds of dollars, not thousands. Sure. But he certainly has multiple sources of income that give him this stream of dollars where he can afford to take a little bit greater risk because he doesn't think the DMV is going to disappear tomorrow, or the Air Force pension is going to stop the next week. Those things are still secure. So he can afford. But so you get the idea that each of us have our own situation. Some of you are self-employed, or you have a spouse that has bounced around a few different companies, so really hasn't taken the time or worked for the companies that have a pension. What are we at, Jeff? 19% of Americans that are working actually have a pension.
That's right.
19%.
That's right.
And 3% of those are from private companies.
Incredible.
16% from government agencies or entities. 3% are private companies. That means most of you guys and gals and families are not going to have that guaranteed source of income, that pension that we used to rely on. So an annuity fills that bucket. And especially with the new rules coming and the new changes, it has become a big part of 401k conversations, because you have proven to be pretty good at accumulating wealth. You're in your 30s, 20s, 40s, you're saving money, you're building towards that future. You're working over here, so your income's fine. Over here, you're putting in money on the left side into these accounts on a regular basis, no problem. However, what happens when the day comes and you now need to tap into those dollars for a monthly income stream? Then there are some changes that come.
Well, and that's why a lot of 401k providers out there and retirement services providers are incorporating annuities. Remember, like Arif said, Wall Street and the basic stock market sentiment was just accumulate. They didn't want to understand or have annuities be a part of it. But now people are demanding income solutions, and so more and more companies are offering these annuities inside of a 401k. So normally what you do is you say, hey, how does this work? Well, I'm going to just check a bunch of boxes when I sign up on my 401k. Maybe you know what you're doing. Fantastic if you do. And then you do well. But then what happens when you want to take money out? Either you retire and you take the lump sum out and you drop it in the bank, or you drop it into an annuity. What do you normally do with a 401k? Well, there isn't really a one-size-fits-all plan. So because people are so uncertain what to do with those 401k dollars at the end, some just draw on the money. These other companies are out there actually offering an annuity inside of it. So basically, you're taking a part of your 401k assets and you're pledging it to this annuity component inside of it. Now, I don't know all of the inner workings, and there are so many companies out there that do this, and this is a newer type of concept for a lot of retirement providers. So they may be offering a solution where you say, I'm going to just give up some of those dollars. Let's say it's 25 or 30% of the money, and you're going to say, I'm going to give up control of that, keep the rest of my assets, and you guys just give me an income stream. That's kind of like that first annuity that we talked about, which is basically like a personal pension, except you're accumulating the dollars, and then you're exchanging those dollars for a payment each and every month. The other way to do it that might be an option inside of this concept is they may give you a hybrid where you can say, I want to have some of it distributed to me in income, but if I ever want to stop that, it's not irrevocable. I get to change my mind and then take my 401k elsewhere. I hope they build that into the architecture. That would be really beneficial to the 401k participants, to us as consumers. That would be really nice. But again, this is a newer concept, and I think it's still developing.
And I think what you're going to see is the ability for you to make your own choices with the annuities that are right for you, because there are some that are very fee heavy. They give you a greater potential on the upside, no question about that. You can earn the 15, 20s, 30% or more interest, frankly. If you think the market is going to do that, that might be a better place for you to put some of your money that you're willing to lose 15, 20, 30% as well, right? So you have a huge range. The other side of it, and you're going to pay a fee for that. The other side of it is they're going to cap your returns on the upside. You're probably going to make no more than 10 or 12% in any 1 year, but you're never going to lose below zero. So you're going to always earn 0 to 10, 0 to 12, maybe 0 to 15 in today's interest rate environments. Maybe you're going to do okay. And if the goal is for you to get a monthly income stream forever, that just might be the right place to go. However, you're getting an income for 2 years, 4 years, 6 years. Things change. You say, never mind, just give me my money. No problem, take it. If you're still within a period of time, you may pay a fee because you're not paying a monthly fee. But if you want to pull out more than 10% a year, some of these accounts will charge a fee. So part of that is to know, do I want to put all of my eggs in this basket? Usually the answer is no, I want to spread it out. But I want to encourage you to think differently. Number one, retirement is no longer about sitting there and waiting for that pension clock to tick. It is about living. And today's millennials will tell you, I mean, certainly there are some things that we all want to complain about this generation, just like everybody complained about my generation, right? Oh, Arif, back in the day, and oh, my kids and my family, I get it. However, I also want you to know that there's some good things that come out of them, and that is a bit more of a purpose, making a difference, making some change in the world, kind of an attitude. And it's not going to end at age 60 or 65. People will work in their career for a reason. It's usually because they can get paid pretty well and they think they're going to make a difference. I don't want you to work in a place that you're not happy. I don't want you to work in a place that is so crummy that at the end of the day, you're looking at it and going, you know, I got 26 more years. Look, I remember, I can even tell you who the person is. I won't though, but I know who he is. I was a brand new policeman, 22 years old when I graduated the academy. I was 22, plus a week, 2 weeks. And I'm sitting there in the locker room, and I'm so excited. Months and months and months of testing, 6 months of the academy, waking up early, staying up late, being yelled at, push-ups in the mud, all the stuff that you had to do, right? And now I'm sitting there so excited, and I'm putting on my shoes and my boots or whatever I was wearing at the time, and I've got my uniform on and my locker, and about 6 lockers to my right, an older guy comes in, and he starts complaining. I only have 6 more years and then my pension. I'm leaving this place. I can't believe it. And then I remember thinking like, oh my goodness, what did I just do? What did I just do? I just committed my life to work in an industry, in a field that I remember so many thousands of people tested and very few got in. And yet the guy who's already there, 6 lockers away from me, can't wait to get the heck out. And I thought, oh, what did I do? Did I pick the wrong place to be? The wrong career field? I never want you to be that person. If you get to a place and you say, you know what, this just isn't working for me anymore. My skill set has tapped out, my desire, my interest, I'm leaving. My income, I can make more money over here. Then you need to have the ability to have a plan B. And the only way you're going to do that is to financially take care of yourself. An annuity, retirement accounts, savings, emergency accounts, all of those things play a role in your financial health. And that will help you be eligible to move to the next spot.
Well, and I think this is important to know because you have options whether or not you find a job with benefits. That was, as I was growing up, 40 years ago, it was always the sentiment, go out, go to school, get a good education, and get a job with benefits. That was the thing. But do you realize that if you get to a place where, like Arif was saying, maybe you don't realize it till a few, maybe even 5-6 years into a job or an industry or career that you don't necessarily like, and now you're married to that job because you have to wait, until the clock ticks so that you can qualify for a pension in 10 or 20 years from now. I mean, that's not an exciting place to be. So if you find a job where you can actually have, whether it's a 401k or maybe they don't offer a 401k, but they pay you relatively well, use some of those dollars to park those into your own personal retirement account. And the options that we've shared with you today, the concepts that we share with you today, are designed around telling you that individually you have the power to do all of these things that employers and governments all package in for us. Those things that they put out there, like a 401k or a health insurance plan or whatever benefits they're offering, those are enticements for people to want to come work for them.
And look, I don't want you to transfer the responsibility for your life to somebody else. That's why we push so hard against the Obamacare Act and the plans where just you wake up in the morning, the bell rings, you go do your job, and don't worry, Mother Government will take care of you. That is socialism, you guys. The more you get away from you being responsible for yourself. I can remember, even as a policeman, I hated the fact that we had seatbelt laws and helmet laws. And people go, what? What are you talking about? It's the law and you got to write tickets. Yeah, I guess I get all that. However, you've got to realize that you take the responsibility. And the moment you start looking at things, well, we as a society are responsible to dispatch a ambulance so that if you crash your bicycle or your motorcycle or your car and you're more injured than the other guy because you weren't wearing your seatbelt, it's a burden on society. Yep, that's right. That's why I pay my taxes. That's why there are roads. So, look, it's my point of view is the more you let government creep into your life and you just, bell rings, stand up, bell rings, sit down, bell rings, take a break, bell ring, goes to the bathroom, bell ring, right? When is the bell going to ring and you say, and now begin to think for yourself and live? The more you transfer those responsibilities to somebody 3,000 miles away, they may be wonderful people, but they have no clue what you need, let alone the folks in Sacramento. It's bad enough we have to have a responsibility of trusting the people in City Hall in Santa Clarita. What, 20 of you show up to city council meetings, right? You have to realize it's your life, your responsibility. I don't want to go too far down that road because it can be a little bit murky, but go back to the personal responsibility. If you are offended, it is your problem, not mine, sir. Look, I get it. If I am rude, then I am rude. If I'm crude, I'm crude. But don't take the line of offended and racism and all that other bigot, right? The moment you throw that out, you dehumanize the other person and the argument's over. So if your goal is to not communicate, then run around branding people that you disagree with, bigot, homophobe, or what's the other one, xenophobe. You pick the phobe, right? Oh my gosh, these people live in a bubble. And then financially, at the end of the day, you still need to take a dollar bill to the grocery store. Choose to not hang around people that are jerks. That's the goal. And if they are a jerk and they have no friends, they'll change their behavior or they'll be lonely. And either way, you still win. But to run around as a victim and start pointing fingers at everything that looks like it could be a dog whistle, right? Have you heard that term, Jeff? You may not have.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dog whistle. What he meant when he said that was like, oh my gosh, really? You think everybody thinks that much about stuff as you do? Well, now it's institutional, it's white privilege, and oh my God, how about you just go to work? How about just wake up in the morning? How about try to be better? Go to school. Learn something. These computers today, you can learn anything about anything. How about be better? Oh, the world of employers are racist. Start your own business. Did you know you can do that? Start your own company. Wow, how quickly you will flip political sides when you start your own business and you realize, what do you mean I have to sign a regulatory this and I need a permit for that and there's a fee for this and it just is air and I have to pay for it? Well, that's the rules. Your family counts on you thinking for yourself, being independent, removing the victim part of your life, teaching your kids personal responsibility about their behavior, about who they are, not offending you, and you. My gosh, I hope 2016 was we can put in a grave, put rest in peace, political correctness. And you can say, be a good human being. And whatever that is, if you don't like it, then that means you're going to have less friends. Right? It's okay. People that want to think like that, go over there. I want you to have a life where financially you are taking responsibility and you don't bob in the wind. Jeff, we had a gentleman come in who was in a company for 28 years, I think, plus or minus, about 28 years. And he said, Arif, and you wouldn't believe it, I had the same job. I worked my way up at the same company, and I worked my way up into a great job. I was a supervisor. Then they took the job and they moved it to Mexico. and it was a manufacturing plant in Chatsworth, and they moved the plant to Mexico, and they gave me a little bit of a severance. So they gave him a severance, maybe 6 months or something, and then that was it. That was it. I go, well, so then what? What are you going to do? I don't know. I feel so like violated, and I feel so used, and I'm sitting there going, what do you mean? They gave you a 6-month severance. That means you didn't show up for 6 months and you got paid. Would you work for 6 months for free?
No.
If you said, company, I got a job down the street, they're going to pay me more money, but I'm going to give you 6 months of work for free until you can find somebody and I could train somebody else. Oh, Arif, that's ridiculous. That's exactly the same thing.
Right.
They paid you to not show up and work for 6 months. When does that become, I deserve it? Well, okay, now you're a victim. Back to that. You deserve next week's paycheck. And if that's not enough for you, it doesn't work out, you go find another place. Or you negotiate, or you talk to your boss, or you say, hey, I can learn another skill or get another certification. But when you do that, the power goes into your hands. The millennials have figured it out. They'll show up and they'll say, this is what I want. And if it's not right for them, they leave. There's no 25 to 30-year career for them anymore.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. They're not buying a house. They're like, Mom, remember when the market dropped and you lost this much money? Why would I want to put myself on purpose in that position? Oh,
smart.
Because you need a place to live. No problem, I can rent. Well, some of them say, I live with you.
Your couch looks great,
Your
Dad.
couch, Mom. It's a perfect spot for me and my family. And 2 kids and dog and gerbil. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. We are here. Start your year off right with personal responsibility. Get rid of the victim. Get rid of the whole I'm offended about the world and this and that and the way he or she said this. And take responsibility for your financial life. 2017 can be a change for you that can blow your mind and create wealth and satisfaction for you and your family. I'm Arif Halaby. That's Jeff Gerard on Total Financial Solutions Safer Money Hour.